Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending yet. Folks, it's me, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, it's an exciting week for me. I mean, I'm cheesing right now. I'm cheesing. I'm trying to keep calm. I'm trying to keep patient because I have here three lovely ladies, three buff lovely ladies. This is every muscle person most fantasy have three buff treats at the same time. So, folks, this is a great opportunity to have these ladies here. They are IFB pros, retired. They have been in the game for quite some time. One of the ladies I have had a guest on my channel quite a few times. Another lady I got to meet in person. And the third lady, this is next to meeting my girlfriend. You know who my girlfriend is, guys. And I can't help but talk about it anytime I think about it. The lovely Mrs. Andrea Shaw. That's my girlfriend. But these ladies here is excited. So we're gonna start first. You all recognize Gina. Gina Caballero is IFB Pro, one of the members of Team 4 Pro, one of the coaches. As you know, she's working with her partners as they are now sponsoring some competitors for this year. Shout out to Gina. She has been in the game for quite some time. Great lady, has been a guest a couple of times on my channel. Welcome back, Gina.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Also, we have here the big sweet herself. I met her 2022 when I went to Savannah, where it was my first bodybuilding show. She was walking out of the, I think it was after prejudges. I got to say hello to her, talk to her a little bit. We have here the lovely Mrs. Irene Anderson. As you know, she's a multi-time Olympian. She is an amazing lady. Call her the big sweet because she's big and sweet. Did you hear me? Hello? Oh, so we get it back later. I think some, but the last lady I have here is, she is a multiple-time Olympian, two-time Rising Phoenix women's bodybuilding champion. As you know, she just announced her retirement just a few months ago. We will miss her on stage. We appreciate what she's doing with her and Team Bad Brat with her partners. We have here, guys, and hey guys, calm down, take a deep breath. We have here an amazing, lovely Mrs. Hella Trevino. Wait a minute, Irene is back.
Oh no, lost sound.
Yeah, we got Irene back. Hello.
No, I'm back.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
So this is for me. It's really exciting to have these ladies here, especially women like Hella and Irene, who's been in the game quite some time, multiple-time Olympians, Rising Phoenix competitors. As you know, they are the ladies of Team 4 Pro. I want to give them a shout out. Also, going to give a shout out to my dear friend, Here's Martinez Kitchens of Bad Rap. She's worked with Gina, and she's also worked with these ladies on quite a few occasions. So I just want to give her acknowledgement. So, ladies, welcome and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. I don't know where to start first. I mean, I'm just, I already talked to Gina before.
I lost my sound, so I guess I'm gonna go out and try to come back in.
Go out, come back in. It's terrible. But since she's gonna come back, I'm gonna talk to these ladies first. So I'm gonna start off with the lovely Miss Hella Trevino. And ma'am, we heard about your announcement as you has stated that you're retiring recently this year. What was the thought of this, especially along your career has been competing, and what is the plans now with your new direction outside of bodybuilding?
Well, I've been competing for a really long time. My first show was in 1998. I've been a pro for 21 years. So, it's something I've been thinking about in the last few years. Every athlete in every sport has to once in a while check in with themselves, especially when you've competed for a long time, and just gauge where are you in your life, where are you in your competitive career, where are you with your body. And my body definitely has some injuries, with a career of like probably worked out for 33, 34 years. And even though, I'll say like it's minor things that I have compared to how long I've worked out and how long I've been a pro and how many years I consecutively have competed. But it's still like, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to work out the rest of my life. And I was feeling some wear and tear. A few years ago, I tore two tendons in my shoulder. I had knee surgery last year. My cartilage in my knees is getting full. And I had a cartilage induction as well, where they inject some liquid collagen to kind of work as a scaffold between the bones, and it's working somewhat, but it's still like not new knees, and just a few other knickknacks where I've just been like, when you're a champion, you want to be on top, and I just don't see myself as just continuing, and then you fall off on the placement just because of age, because of injuries, because this and that. Then you're third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th, 12th, whatever. I always said, I want to stop on top. And I've been really like adamant about that. Like even from when I was like in my 20s, I was like, I'm going to stop on top. I don't want to, kind of be, I want people to remember me as the best version of myself and not ending with the worst version of myself. So I think that's something that I've been really like firm on. And I think I could have still competed a couple of years, but I do want to stop on top. And there are also other things in my life that I want to focus on. Also now we founded Team for Pro, where we went like really serious about it, maybe like a year ago. And I really want to put my effort into coaching the new and upcoming people. I think I had my time. I'm happy with the time I've had. I had a really good career for the past 12 years. I've been top 3 in the Olympia or Rising Phoenix. So I've held I've held ground, but I think now it's time that I give my body a rest and just kind of like focus on being healthy and not putting my body through so much strain and heavy weights, and just focusing more on longevity and anti-aging and all that. Looking pretty still, but maybe just a little smaller. And yeah,
ma'am, I said, go ahead. What's it?
huh?
Oh, what you say?
Yeah, I'm excited about our Team for Pro collaboration here. Like that, I think we are really strong because we are 3 female IFBB pro coaches coming together with so many years of experience, and we all have like a bit of different expertise. And I think we have a strong foundation for helping women get in shape. We have all this practical knowledge, whereas I feel like a lot of like the new coaches, they're young, they have maybe practical knowledge in terms of like, or like theoretical knowledge through courses and stuff, whereas I think we're all certified in NASM or ISSA, but that don't mean nothing. In a course you only learn like really the basic. Like having a competitive career for 15, 20, 30 years is like, it's unbeatable. And also being women, like as a woman, how everything works on your body, and you're not a man. I think, not to like dish out on anyone, but I think some of the male coaches, not all, but some, they just don't understand how our female body operates through everything, through diet, the stress that a female body experiences. We just have a tendency to quicker, have high cortisol. We have hormones to deal with. Like some women are more going to menopause, and how do you coach differently if women are in menopause and not menopausal? And we are all in our 50s. So we all have experience with non-menopause, perimenopause, post-menopause. So, I think just we can help any woman really, really well because we are women and we've lived it. So I'm just excited for what we can do together and how we can help the women out there prep and be their greatest. We've all won shows. We are all champions. So we have that champion mentality, like when I have a client, I want to win. It doesn't matter if I'm on the stage or I have a client, like I'm in the process and I want to win, and I feel like an athlete needs a coach that has that kind of drive, that the knowledge is there, especially like the knowledge on the female physiology and also mentally, like a lot of the journey with a client is making sure they're their mental best all the time. Because if this one is not in sync, then everything can fall apart. So we're like, I'll say we kind of do a little bit of everything, like building up the athlete, but also doing the practical structure.
Mm-hmm. I got to interrupt you because I think that's the first time I heard you say we're all in our 50s. I was like, what?
Are we really? I'm actually, I'm 52 in November. So, I'm in that 50 club. I'm going to stay with Hella because I got issues with my knees. I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I got a pacemaker. I mean, I got things where as you know, I'm not a woman, I'm a man. And, we have to worry about things about like having babies and postpartum and having a period because, our purpose in life is to build, battle, and die. That's it. But yeah, that's important because I think one thing with woman biology is going to be different. You women have higher BMI than men. Men, we're built different. We can put on muscle a lot faster because we don't have that high BMI. Sometimes a cookie cutter program wasn't going to work for everybody. It's one thing if you work with someone like Derek Lundberg or Samson Dua, it's those guys are different level. But then you work with someone like, as I mentioned earlier, Andrea Shaw, or someone like, a couple ladies that you work with now who are part of your T4 Pro program. Shout out to my man, Rolando G, coming through. Shout out to Rolando. He says, hello, George and the lovely ladies. Hello, Irene Anderson, Hella, and Gina. Thank you, brother. Also, shout out to man. He says, I understand women in FBB go through a lot. Emotionally, I am a man admiring the dedication. Adore you ladies at the top of your sport. Sincerely. Thank you, Rolando. That's my man, Rolando G. So we're gonna go to Irene, and we didn't hear about your retirement. I heard from Gina, but you just, I mean, like, what actually since I think was 2023 was the Alina check.
Yeah, I also heard it from Gina and from Helle, like that I'm retired. No, but I have been competed, like I think I've done 48 shows, started 2003 and nearly competed every year since that. I think it's except 3 years since 2003 that I haven't been on stage. So it comes to an end that you feel maybe it's time to bring up the new girls that want to enter stage to help them and still be in the sport, of course, and we still will continue our training, and that's our lifestyle and we love it. So stepping on stage, yeah, maybe it's time just to push other girls. And we're coaching guys as well, don't forget that. We are good at that too.
One of the guys is a guy, I think his name is what's his name again, Gina?
What's that?
What's the young man that you coaching also as a part of your program?
Yeah, he's a Swede in Kevon.
Okay, that's pretty good. He respects y'all and respects your expertise and also your experience as bodybuilders. And again, that's important that to be able to teach these young competitors, There's a lot of people out there that don't understand that bodybuilding is not like, one thing people always talk about bodybuilding is the use of steroids and performance enhancers. That's more than that. It's, understanding the training, understanding the diets, the factors into it, the growth and development as an athlete over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, so the Team 4 Pro program, when did that come about? And this is something I think was most definitely needed, especially for up and comers. So raise your hand, who's the one who started the idea?
I don't know. I think I did. I remember having a conversation with Hella in Mexico at some point a few years ago, easily. Where I just thought, it'd be really cool if we partner up. And, there's nobody else in the industry that was just women coaching. And I think that's kind of where the seed got planted.
I mean, we were all coaches, so, why not go together and just combine our knowledge? And also, I think it's nice sometimes to have somebody to spare with, that you can kind of I have this client, sometimes we have clients also who have health issues, where you're what do you think about this blood work? Or, we have her, maybe she needs to start on a specific supplement protocol that we put together, or I don't know. I have a lot of knowledge with shoulder injuries. I mean, Gina does too, but double tendon repair, where I tore my bicep tendon and my supraspinatus. So, I've done so much rehab for that, and I know everything about shoulder rehab. I also don't know everything about lower back rehab, and now I also know everything about knee rehab because that's the thing I've been through. So, we can help each other with different aspects.
Mm.
Yeah, being like James of all trades to understand every aspects of the body and how it develops.
For the experience that we bring collectively. And, if you think about it, when it comes to research and data about female bodybuilding and anabolic drug use, there's not much out there really. If you want to do the research and see what kind of data there is, there's not much that's been exclusively about females, right? So we have that collectively. I mean, we have the data because we've lived it, and we have decades of this experience. So, when you put it all together, I'm going to say it's impressive. I mean, we have, 5 decades of experience together, 6 decades. So what's not out there on Google or in ChatGPT, we have up here.
We experience it.
All research have been made on men. So whenever you Google something or you want to ChatGPT something, it's mostly resistance training, every aspect of it, training, dieting, physiological response. Also, when we're talking pets, women. I mean, something like women and pets. There's no research on it.
No,
nothing. Anecdotal stuff on Reddit.
Say testosterone of women, then you don't need that in traditional medicine. Yeah, you need testosterone in traditional men's medicine because we all know testosterone kind of declines with age and TRT. So it's just you don't find no data. You have to have the experience. You cannot read yourself to the experience. Yeah, you can read yourself to some more knowledge and read about the different compounds, for instance, but the whole mechanics of a prep is there's so many components and there's so many buttons to screw on, diet, cardio, training, supplementation, pets. So it's not something that's easy to do. And I hear there's terrible stories all the time of many of my clients come from a coach where they had awful experience. Either it was a lack of engagement, like where I hear like, yeah, my coach didn't show up at my show, even though he promised to be there. I couldn't get a hold of him. He didn't answer the text. I'm like, what the heck? How is that even possible? You know? But it's not uncommon that coaches just, maybe they do it for the money, or maybe they don't have a passion for it, or maybe they have too many clients. I don't know. But that's one aspect of just like not doing the work, not paying attention, not updating the plans when they need to be. And then the other part is like some coaches are just inexperienced. And I've seen like both like diets where I'm like, damn, he put you on no carbs for 3 months. Like, what the hell? Now they have metabolic damage, you know, and I have to sit and repair it and say to the client, yeah, you can't compete now because you have metabolic damage. So we got to fix that first. Or they just took like 1,000 milligrams of test a week and look like a dude and have heavy side effects. And I'm like, dude, we got to fix your acne. We got to fix this. And now we got to get you healthy. Now we got to spend like maybe like 4 or 5 months getting you healthy. And then we can look at a show. And it happens all the time. And it's just, it pisses me off, honestly.
That goes back to the thing where
We all had those.
education, we say,
I'm sorry, what?
that's why I think education is important, because, you know, to gain that knowledge.
Yes, and we've all seen it. We've all had those women come to us that have outrageous testosterone levels, and hey, what have you been taking? Well, he put me on this, and this, and
It's like
ridiculous doses and inappropriate compounds for females, and you know, a lot of that damage is irreversible, you know. So, you know, some of the stuff we can correct, you know, but it's not even just the compound influence. It's, you know, labs not being assessed properly, and somebody who's got metabolic damage or perhaps insulin resistant, and they're having them eat cream of rice 5 times a day and wondering why these people are crashing. And, you know, nothing is going right with their physiology because everything is wrong. So, you know, there's just so many problems in our industry when it comes to coaches and health and directing athletes the right way and for their best health. It doesn't happen all the time, unfortunately.
Wouldn't be a good idea to have something like where you can monitor like coaches, like give information when you share it between other competitors, and also be aware of these coaches so you can push them out. But understand with this sport, it's about, you know, it's a money thing. And money is, the old saying goes, money talks and bullshit walks.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to monitor, because I also see sometimes some coaches, they just get popular because, you know, they get a podcast, and they just I mean, I hear a lot of different rumors, like coaches, you know, hijacking athletes from other coaches and paying for it. They're actually paying for, if you will switch from your coach, I will pay you. And, you know, whenever a coach comes with that, I would be very suspicious, because why you need to pay for clients?
that's a good question.
The question, the other way around.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be paying you, so you can pay me. Okay, you pay me. I don't have a problem. I take the money. I'm broke. We got here. Shout out to my man C Racing Report 2024. Shout out to, he says, very similar biology to racehorses. Trainers have an adjusted plan to prepare fillies and mares. Plus, women in the other sports, the psychology dictates training to prevent more frequent ACL and MCL injuries. Also, he says this, shout out to my man. He says, Corey Everson and her sister did the body shaping shows on ESPN. Not sure how many bodybuilders they train compared to Bear Francis, who's been running gyms for a while. Yeah, that's Corey and her sister Cameo. That's their thing. Shout out to my man here, Josh Simpkins from the Empire Nation. Empire Nation Stand Up says, what's good, George, Gina, Irene, and Hella? Also Empire Nation. What's good to you, brother? So, folks, what we're going to do is this. While we have the ladies here, we're going to jump into social media. We're going to jump to their Team 4 Pro IG. We're going to show some pictures, some links, some videos. You want to check her out. The links in the description of the lives. Also, their links. But Gina, she knows my thing. Guys, I'm telling you, front, these are three lovely ladies. You know, she's been here before, but not Hella. But guys, I know y'all guys excited about seeing them. Be respectful. No weird shit. Nothing. Don't do it. If you do it, I'm coming after you. Because, you know, I know Hella and Irene, Gina tell you that I have another part of me. He's my other guy. He comes out. He loves anarchy and chaos. He just, you know, he's just so excited to have you ladies on. So, folks, well, we got the ladies here. Follow the links. And also, if you're interested in working with them, if you're a competitor and want to expand your opportunities, you can check out T4 Pro. So we can go up in here and jump into your IG for a little bit. And here we go here. And these some, like I said, they're doing some good work here. One lady's here, I actually reached out for an interview, and that is, I think it's Katrina, that's her name is. Katrina?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, we were talking, you know, she started following me on IG, and she's going to be competing in wellness by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yeah.
she was the.
She's a very good upcoming talent.
And I see also, here's a young lady here. Is she another one of your competitors that's on your program?
Mobina, yes.
And where she's from?
She's actually here in Stockholm. She's one of our new sponsored athletes. Got the opportunity to meet her a couple times.
Yeah. She looks young. She looks like man Jerome would say, she looks like she's right behind here. Breast smell like Similac. You know, and what's that feeling when y'all working with these young competitors, like who really have a passion, a drive for the sport?
It's incredible. I've nicknamed her my mini me. So she's just so excited, and you know the future's bright. She's got her whole life ahead of her. She's 24, and to be jumping into bodybuilding that age, and you know excited about potentially being a pro athlete. It's exciting for me, you know, to be able to pick up on that enthusiasm that she brings. So it's really cool, and to be able to mentor young athletes is amazing.
Yeah, here's Lucy. She's one of your also new competitors here. I interviewed Lucy about a month ago. She's from, I think she lives in Germany now, but she's originally from, I forget what country it was. And also here,
I'm with her. She's from Germany, but she lives in Bulgaria. And she's also like a new upcoming talent. Like she's going to do physique, maybe eventually bodybuilding. But she's really like, she's got nice shapes, small waist, really good muscle. And this is another one I'm working with, female bodybuilder, super talent. I mean, she can go far.
yeah, Elizabeth Moline. I interviewed Elizabeth last year. She just made her pro debut at the Steve Carr show. She was top 5 at that show, meaning she beat out, you know, Hunter was 6. Beat out Hunter, who just did the Olympia, was it maybe a few weeks before the crack in the top 5 Steve Carr show. I talked to her. She was very excited about being one of your members. Also, I hear you have here.
Look, she's one to watch out for.
And you also have Tukes McCauley. She's from the UK.
Yep.
I know Tukes was competing in women's bodybuilding for a time, but she went over to women's physique.
Yes, she's women's physique right now. We will see about that. We're off season, and she's putting on really nice size. So it's gonna be exciting to see where she lands when we're not doing a show this year. We're taking this year to grow. So next year, early spring, we're gonna be getting on stage.
Here is Hella. She's in California.
And Who's on the Wall? It's very nostalgic to be back. A lot of memories here at this gym. I've done so many preps here, like, yeah, I can't even count. I mean, I lived here for 10 years, so it's pretty cool to just be back. And
legends never fade, we're written in the sky. Raise a glass to the past, yeah, we're flying high. Legends never fade, we're more than just a name.
Yeah, what's it like being back in Gold's Gym for you, Helen?
It was nice. You know, I lived in LA for 10 years. And now I live in Zanzibar, Tanzania. But I mean, those 10 years has been some of the best years of my life. And I really like lived the dream, you know, like I'm originally from Denmark and I traveled over here in 2012 to make career and to live the dream, you know, the bodybuilding gym dream, living in the gym practically, you know. I trained with Charles Glass, I've trained with Chris Cormier, and just many of the pros and trainers who, you know, had something that I felt could also increase my repertoire. You know, I've always been like an athlete that wanted to learn and improve, and you know, those tools I'm using on my clients now. But Gold's Gym has been like really that's like my second home.
Here's you also working with a legend, the lovely Miss Michelle Brent, Mrs. Michelle Brent.
Legendary Michelle Brent. A true icon in sport, Michelle is a Masters Olympian and a two-time over 60 Masters World Champion, with an incredible career that has spanned nearly 4 decades. She's long been a staple on the women's bodybuilding stage, inspiring generations with her passion, discipline, and resilience. This year, Michelle returns with a new challenge, stepping into the women's physique division. She represents the very definition of dedication and longevity in the sport, and we celebrate her continued journey doing what she loves most. Yeah, Michelle's amazing. I think this is my 3rd, maybe 4th season working with her. So she's back. So we're going at it for another year.
Here he is also with have here Irene gives some advice.
You left potatoes for rice cakes? Big mistake. Potatoes are one of the best carbs for fat loss. Nothing keeps you fuller per calorie, not oats, rice, or pasta. 79% water, rich in resistant starch, slows digestion, blunts hunger hormones. About 80 calories per 100 gram. High volume, low calories. For even better results, boil and cool them first to boost resistant starch. Potatoes don't make you fat, overeating calories does. They are simple, cheap, and effective. So stop avoiding them. Eat more potatoes.
Yeah, eat more potatoes. You know, I think ain't vodka made out of potatoes? Hello? Ain't vodka made out of potatoes?
It's what?
Vodka, ain't that made out of potatoes too?
Vodka. You made up many things. I went to like a vodka distillery in Africa, and they made it on sugarcane. Drank vodka with the chief of the village. He had his own distillery. So I think he made it.
So no potatoes there.
Yeah. Maybe in Russia they make it on potatoes. I don't know.
I'm country. I know you can make some nice liquor. We just ferment some, get some apples, some fruits and vegetables, let them sit for a while, let them ferment. I know quite a few people used to make stump whole liquor back in the day. We have here, shout out to my man C Cross. He's C Racing. It says, I heard Autumn Rebbe was making a comeback. Any one of you 3 training her?
No.
I haven't heard she's making a comeback, but she'll be welcome on the team.
Absolutely.
I remember Autumn back in the day. I think she was coming in by the time you were stepping away from a little bit from bodybuilding. We had your injury a few years ago. When I think it was like she was in about the 2000s. Mm-hmm. She competed for a good while, but then she stepped away from it, and I think she started having her own life.
Awesome physique, really awesome physique. I always
like from you ladies. I'm gonna ask you, during your eras, who do you think were really represented women's bodybuilding, or just female bodybuilding in general, in your opinions?
What do you mean with when you say represented?
What like the look, the style, the development, really was the I would say you would say could be the standard or is the standard of women's bodybuilding or just in bodybuilding in general?
I guess it's depends on what kind of like physique you like. For me, I always liked like I mean, I was always more on the extreme side. Like, I love really like when women are like, or women or men are very conditioned, because to me, it's like a sign of strength. It's a sign of like having a high discipline and a high threshold for pain, because it's not easy to get super shredded. Like, you really have to like suffer for that, and you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. And I was always like really I wanted that mental strength. For me, it was not physical, but I admired athletes that could get into like a crazy conditioning, because it really requires a lot of mindset. Like, you have to be still up here. And back in the day, I would say my first era of competing was, I mean, Kim Chisevsky was a role model for me. She had retired at the time where I hit the stage. It was Linda Murray winning at that time. It was Linda and Iris having a little rivaling. But Iris hadn't won yet. My first Olympia was in 2003. And I think Linda won that one. And then the year after, Iris won that one, and then Iris's era started. But for me, I really liked Kim's physique, because it was just more extreme. Like, I love Linda's physique as well, but it was more like maybe today it would have been a little bit more physique-ish, you know. Like, I think she was like in her 150s, where I think Kim, I mean, she was also taller. I think she was more like in the maybe 175, 180. And she was just very impressive to me, like big, shredded. And after that, I'll say Iris. I really admired her physique, just because, yeah, she got so shredded, and she had like, no one has ever had a back like hers. Like, not now, not before. For me, she has the best back of all times. Like, seriously, like, she even now has a great back still. But yeah, those two are really, to me, very good bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Irene?
I started to get interested most when Bev Francis showed up. Like, that was something totally different. It was like, wow, can a woman get that big? And if you look at it now, she wasn't that big if you compare to how the girls are looking now. But in the 80s, she was, and back then she was. So, yeah, and of course, I always admired Linda Murray's physique, this beautiful aesthetic physique. Feminine. So the two opposite.
I mean, I would say if Bev Francis would have competed just a little bit later, she would have won. She was just ahead of her time. Like, at that time, the Rachel McLeish look, and they were probably like, that's too extreme, that's too much. Like, but today, like you said, she would probably have been.
Yeah, she just came out too early.
I think she would probably be WPD if she competed today, because if you look at the girls now, but even those girls get bigger. What about you, Gina? Who did you like? I know you started a good bit later in your life. Who was that somebody really was that really you admired? And you can't mention your two friends. You can't be cheating.
Oddly enough, I mean, like, Helen was like my idol. It's whose physique I was chasing. Like, I remember meeting her and like having my fangirl moment backstage in Tampa, you know. But definitely Iris Kyle. She's one of my favorites to this day. I think she kind of changed the direction of the sport. And oddly enough, just a couple days ago, that post that you showed that Hella did from Venice, when I saw her picture, I said, you know what, that was my last favorite look in our sport, quite frankly. It's about size. And I'm honestly not a fan of just building more and more mass. I think it's hard to keep the aesthetics when we get so big. So, you know, I thought 2019, I think that's what it was when that poster is from. I think that look was amazing.
Yeah,
That was
I know the post he's talking about is, this was from, I think it was from the 2018 Rising Phoenix. And it was the year, I think you had like about 18 ladies on that stage. It's on my IG. And it was, I posted, everybody likes it because I shared it. And this is here we have here is the lovely Miss Pellegrini.
This is the 18 best bodybuilders, female bodybuilders in the world. 18 best that came from all over the world, fly in to compete here. Better go in and see what's going on.
IFBB Rising Phoenix World Championship, showcasing the best in all of professional women bodybuilding from around the globe, in conjunction with the IFBB Wings of Strength Arizona Pro, featuring every IFBB Pro Women division on this very stage.
I know you look at a female bodybuilder and you probably feel like, oh, I don't want to be that muscular. That's too much. This is 2016. We're not at a place where we're trying to tell others what they can and cannot look like, to tell women what they can and cannot be.
That was amazing because, like I said, when I saw it, and I said, I had to share posters because, as women's bodybuilding is kind of going through not a great year for competitions. Last competition you competed at, Gina, was New York Pro, but they don't have it this year. Tampa, which you have earned your shot to the Rising Phoenix back in 2019, Hella, that is gone. Chicago, Tampa's still there, but Chicago has dropped women's bodybuilding. I think this weekend we have the Puerto Rico Pro is back, but it's doing masters. I mean, it's changed over time. I think one of your best looks. That was the year I think you took second or third that year, but you came back the next year and won the title. Wait a minute, folks. We have here some guests here. I gotta give them a shout out. And this is my man K of the Wonder. So you might as well call this Muscle Talk Monday Part 1. Thank you, brother. Also, he says, Irene, have you ever came across Arnold Schwarzenegger after you had made the documentary on women's bodybuilding diet back in 2025?
Yeah, we chased him and wanted an answer. I know both me and Hella talked to him, and but he says he likes female bodybuilding. That's what he said. That's not what he shows.
I remember that goal, and I called him out. I walked right up to him, and I said, listen, what is the reason why you took women's bodybuilding out of the Honor Classic? I just asked him right away if he just didn't like the division or the look, and he was like, no, it wasn't him, and it was the Manions, and it had nothing to do with him, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you're the promoter of the show. I even pulled out my phone and showed him some photo shoot photos of me and said, don't you think that's a nice look? I said, I don't understand why you don't want to put this on stage. I said, do you think it's masculine? And he's like, no, I think it's a good look. He didn't want to say anything bad.
and now it's even worse when he took away women's physique and figure. So what's left on the Arnold? It's like, what's going on?
Well, just saw Michelle Masai. She won both the titles at the UK show and the Arnold show. So this is a new year for a new division. Excuse me, ladies. It's called Fit Model. Excuse me. I have nothing. I interviewed a couple of Fit Model competitors. I have nothing against them, but I feel like when you bring in a division, it's supposed to be a reboot of another division. It's like when you're looking at physique now. We've seen the women now. You look at who are coming in the division. One lady I met, her name is I think I met her at Tampa. That's Megan Santa Barbara. Morrison. This girl, she's right now off season. She's over 200 pounds. That's physique, and it's crazy how where people like Arnold, I watch his movies, you know, I watch Arnold, get to the chopper and all of them. But then the stories I've heard from other ladies and other people, how he truthfully, he's being nice, but he doesn't like the guys in bodybuilding now. We talk about guys are shaking too much, you know, and all that other stuff. But the thing is, dude, that was your time. Your time has passed. It's good to reflect on it, but it's time to realize that things are new. Shout out to our man here, C Racing. He says, Autumn had the Corey Everson hybrid of muscularity and femininity. Clicking had her pegged as serious Miss Olympia contender after breaking out in from Canada. Also, this is from man KL says, you same thing you saying all the time. Yes, brother, because it's not the same thing. It's the thing is that it's about knowledge. And again, there's a quote from my favorite movie. It's called Batman Begins. And there's a part where Liam Neeson plays Ra's al Ghul. He says to Bruce Wayne, "Beware of surrounds all time, young Master Wayne. Never give a shield footing for a killing blow." And when talking to you ladies, I want to be aware of what's involved as being a woman in a sport like bodybuilding, being a coach, being a trainer, and understand all the aspects what it takes to be in this sport. It's not a question, it's me just talking.
What's the question?
Yeah, but anyway, go back to this. So now with the Team 4 Pro, and you're working with a lot of competitors, a lot of pros, a good amount of amateurs, what do you want to see for the future for your athletes?
We want to see them win.
Of course.
Grow, have long careers, you know, not have to cut short because of, you know, health issues, because we did things right. We prioritized health over trophies.
So you can continue compete year after year if you like that lifestyle. So not like an upcomer and then 1-2 shows and then you're done. So the health is one of the most important that we're looking for.
And it's not necessarily like, you know, then someone may be thinking, oh, you know, like I wanna win, I wanna be extreme. But no, that's not meaning that you should compromise your health, because it's not like, oh, we have the soft lot of on and we're just going to be, everybody gets like health protocols and no results. And no, the healthier you can keep your body, the more it's going to work with you. Like it's the absolute opposite, that the more unhealthy your body is, if you have high cortisol, if you have too much, you know, volume on your training and you have too much stress, your CNS is always overloaded, you have high cortisol, or if you go too high on the diet, you have high cortisol, you have metabolic stress, you have, say, you get liver problems, or you get like whatever internal stress. All of that is going to shut down your results. So the more you can push with keeping the body healthy, the better. So it's like you gotta always monitor. Like I monitor everything, like in terms of like, okay, how is the training stress? Like how is it, you know, is it enough volume but not too little, not too much? How is it diet? You know, like one of my favorite question is like, how are you feeling? You know, ask the athletes. I've had athletes who said to me, dang, I never had a coach that actually asked me how I was feeling. No, I want to hear your feedback. How are you feeling? Are you tired? Are you fatigued? Are you overwhelmed? Do you feel good? Do you have lots of energy in your training? Like when are you starting, like when we're in a diet phase, when are you starting to like get weaker? It shouldn't be too early that you get weaker in the gym, but at some point your strength will decrease naturally. But we, like from doing this for so many years, we know when is the right time to start feeling depleted in your diet. When is the right time to, you know, taper off cardio or whatever it is, you know? So yeah, it's I just think monitoring closely is very important.
Yeah, because you want to make sure your athletes are healthy. You want to have longevity because if you're not smart with your training, you can easily burn yourself out. You can easily
Yeah.
hurt yourself.
And
You know.
the common denominator with athletes is they're athletes. They're going to push and do whatever they can, and they're willing to go to the extreme, right? Because they want to win. They want to be successful. So the coach has to be the voice of reason and the one that's willing to put the brakes on and say, no, we're not going there. Sorry. If the coach isn't willing to do that because he's more interested or she's more interested in her success as a coach, more so than the athlete in their longevity and their health, that's not a good coach.
I mean, we don't see any athletes, not even lifestyle clients, without a blood work, because you got to make sure you're working with a healthy person. And if there's something you need to correct, I mean, there's many supplements that can help your liver, kidney, thyroid function, whatever it is, increase your insulin sensitivity. And that's how we create supplement programs that actually help support a healthy blood work.
That's good because you want to. It's not going to be as simple as as you said again. This coach is giving you this and giving you that. Say, you take this, take that, and not really say, let's research how your especially your biology, how it affects your body. All that's involved with between your sleep, your training, your diet. Because I know some competitors tell me it's like 60-40, in the gym compared to where others just say it's 100% in the gym. It's 100%. Nah, you have to, work with this part more than you work on the other.
I mean, it's everything. If you can optimize everything, sleep, recovery, training, diet, cardio, everything has to be in the right measure. And it's like, everyone is individual, right? Everybody has a different body, a different metabolism, a different way of responding to things. So this cookie cutter plans, they're never going to reach their potential, because if you have a coach that has one plan fits all, it's going to be fitting some and some not, And so when people pick a coach, they have to be careful, because some coaches, they might have a few good clients because they're genetically gifted and they might respond to just about anything. And then there are all the big masses that just never go anywhere because their plans aren't really customized. It's just everybody gets the same supplement protocol, right? And, pretty much the same diet, and it's just, how's your digestion? Do you digest potatoes better than cream of rice? Or maybe rice cakes are better, or maybe rice is better for you. I mean, maybe some vegetables really bloat you a lot. And, it's a lot of things to look at. And if you're just like not really into the detail, then it's like send out the plans, make the money, whoever gets somewhere, and the rest is just fill.
Yeah. We got a comment here from my man Kevin Wonder. He's saying this. He says he's talking so much they don't know the difference if he's asking a question. Hey man, I'm just excited. That's what it is. I'm just excited, man. I'm just just having him on here and just talking to him. But yeah, that's my style. I like to have a conversation and have back and forth. I also ask questions, but I like to have a good back and forth and understanding what's involved in it. Shout out to my man here. He says this. He says, Miss or Mrs. Anderson, correct me. The last time you competed was 2021, or is that the incorrect? And also, he says, this is, or was it 2015 or 2016, your last show? That second question is for Mrs. or Mrs. Anderson.
My last show was 2023.
Yeah, and that was, I think it was the Alina Classic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We showed like Alina.
And what was the second question?
I think you asked, was it 2016? But it's the same question. Like we last competed, so we got that out of the way.
Yeah. So
also, shout out to my man here. These guys are fans. Though you don't look like twins, always think Hella and Alina are sisters or cousins. it's a similar shredded physique, which if I'm a judge, I'll score highly with the symmetry, of course. Yeah, because Lena, you and Lena, and I met Lena back in 2022 when she was at the Savannah Pro, and you ladies, it's really for us. We're fans, and we appreciate your work, your aesthetics, your physique, and also we love your bodies too. But we respect who you are as women, because we do have guys out there that there's one side to it, where there's guys like myself. I'm gonna admit my crime, ladies. I must have smell. I get excited when I get to talk to y'all ladies. It really, But then we have the other flip side. We have men who have this idea that women muscle, it offends their senses. It's like you shouldn't be a woman and try to be a man. What y'all thoughts on that?
I think everyone has their preference. I think it's okay. I don't really like when people are judgmental, but I think it's fine. Everyone has their preference, right? Like some like skinny, some like big and voluptuous, some like more like a fitness type of physique or a big bodybuilder. I mean, I think we all have our things that we like in the opposite sex, and if we're talking about that, that's fine. But where it kind of goes wrong for me is like when people get judgmental about it. Like I like that. I like to think like we should all be open-minded, right? Like why would you put down somebody else's choice for what they want to do for their life? Like is their life, like focus on your own life. But I think it's like mostly out of insecurity or just some people, they don't really understand. Like, I mean, what you don't understand, you sometimes can put a distance to, right? That's weird, or I don't get that, or whatever. But I think just we all individuals, we all have our lives, and we are the master and creators of our own lives. And I think we just should all accept the different choices we make. So, but I mean, not everybody's like that, but I'm just like, if I get bad comments on my Instagram, which thank God is not very often, they just get the block button, because I'm like, I'm not about negative vibes. I'm all about positive vibes, and those who love the sport and want to share it, and who want to I want to motivate and inspire on my page, both on the team page or my personal page. Like we want to keep it like informative, fun, educational, good vibes. And if you don't want to be part of the good vibes, I'm just like, okay, you're out, block.
And with you, Irene, because you are a woman, you have a family. What's your thoughts when you had to deal with people's feeling towards you, being that you're this woman with muscles?
I just stopped respond to people that's negative and judgmental. It's this is a sport. We are building our body to compete as in a sport, and we're not out there to be judged if we are attractive to men or not, what they like. So I see it more like, okay, I couldn't care less, but this is a sport for us, not a way to get attention from men. We don't care what they think. Actually,
yeah. And what about you, Gina?
I couldn't care less.
We are doing our passion,
Yeah.
we love.
And what about you? What about you, Gina? Because
I've always said that if you're getting haters in our sport, then you're doing something right. So,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Something that's got their attention. So, I think unfortunately for a lot of women, I see online that it really disturbs them and they get very upset and bothered by it. But it's, each to their own. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Unfortunately, you have keyboard warriors now that have no consequences for saying nasty, ugly things behind a keyboard. But, it's, I think as a bodybuilder, you learn to be fairly thick-skinned. I mean, we get on stage and get judged for how we look. So I think we can have a bit of tolerance and temperance for for dealing with the haters. It's gonna come, So I think you just have to kind of shrug it off. Like Hella says, I blocked them. It's just
Bye.
yeah. But if you're getting them, then you obviously are at a level that made them notice. So
Yeah. I
If
think
if they regret that they were such an asshole, they can always create a new account, start a fresh stuff, and you can stay.
yeah. Here's my thought of it, especially as a guy. When I have guys refer to me as being gay, and again, guys, these are three beautiful ladies. If I'm gay, well, change my name from Don Juan to Twan. So I respect what y'all ladies, who you are, what y'all do. And yes, as a man, yeah, I'm attracted to it. I think it's something beautiful. One of my jobs, well, I think I told Gina about it. I used to work at a strip club. I worked with women, different types. I worked in textiles, worked with different women. Every woman is going to be different. It's not going to be what you think is what your standard. It's what everybody else have their standards. We have your comment, chat from my man, Race. He says, this says, question for Gina and Hella. What's the ideal number of shows in a calendar year around training, recovery, etc.? And what, if any, events are you looking at next year in 2026?
So, I mean, as far as how many shows it's feasible to do, really, it depends on the athlete. The PED protocol is really what dictates it, mostly for females. So I think probably the upper limits is you can probably manage 4 to 5 shows in a year. That being said, what tends to happen is your body is going to tell you at some point it's done. It just stops responding. And it's not only just the PEDs, it just might be the diet and the cortisol and the stress of the physiology at that point that your body just can't continue at that level. Now for me, as far as the shows next year, there's none on the horizon. I'm retired. I think, and probably Irene and Hella can agree to this, as much as I say I'm retired, there's always this little voice in the back of my head that goes, ooh, sure, maybe, and I don't think we'll ever shut up. So,
you can always make a comeback.
So, I mean, that's never off the table. But as of next year, there's definitely no shows in the plans.
It's kind of like Rocky Balboa. It's like, I hear no bell, Rick. And you want to keep on going that route. But it's good that you found something that you want and you want to step back from the sport and help other competitors. As you know, this year, as I said earlier, lost a few shows. It's, as you know, Hella, you are a lifetime Olympic qualified because you've been a 2-time Rising Phoenix champion. Irene, you've been to Olympia. I know, Gina, you would love to go on, or even do the Masters. Oh, that's coming in 2027. I'm hoping to have it here in the States. I would love to go there. Especially where it's just, as you know, they started a new IG to try to promote women's bodybuilding. And I saw Triple O, and I want you to get what's your thoughts on Barbara Mojin? Does she fits the criteria and the standard, or you feel like there's somebody else out there?
Absolutely. I thought she absolutely deserved the win. She has an incredible physique, nice structure. Conditioning was on point. She brought the whole package, and in overall, the quality for the first show of the season is probably the best first show of the season we've seen in 5 years, easily. And we had 13 women show up, which was amazing. So hopefully we see those numbers carry through the rest of the year. I know a lot of the girls wanted to see more shows on the schedule, but really statistically, numbers wise, having fewer shows this year actually works in our favor because it means we can populate them better, which is what they want to see. We get the numbers up for this year, it means more shows next year. So, but as far as Barbara, kudos, deserve the win. I'm excited to see her on the Olympia stage this year.
I agree. Tremendous athlete, and I also agree on it's good there's not as many shows because we really need to, like last year was like a big fiasco because it was like until like I think the show in Vegas, there was just nobody at the shows, like 3 people at New York Pro, that made him shut it down, right? So we can't really afford just like, well, why have a lot of shows if we can't populate them? Just be happy with those we have. Try everybody who can compete. Like, I carried it for many years. Now you guys gotta
Step up.
like we need more of the young people. I see so many great physiques when I scroll through Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I never saw her before. Like, get to the prep and start showing off your physiques, because there are so many awesome girls out there, and I know that we can grow the sport, but I don't know why there are so many women just kind of like training and lurking and not competing, because I think it's really fun. It's great also to have a date on when you need to have your physique ready, because it's like it adds an extra dimension. It's like if you want to achieve something, you always got to have like some sense of urgency. If there's no urgency, it's just you're not going to push yourself like that. And if you really want to see the best version of yourself, I think having a show, testing yourself out, like mentally and physically, like I just think it's an amazing, like, also self-development journey. You learn so much about yourself, and I think more women should just like give it a go and just say, hey, let's try it. So hopefully, yeah, we'll see more women jump in and higher numbers. We are off to a great start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I follow some ladies, particularly here. One lady here we have here, Sherry Piami. She took a step back last year because of some medical issues after the Olympia. That was the last time y'all competed together, was at the 2024 Olympia. Sherry, the amazing lady, she's been a guest a couple of times on my channel. Shout out to her. There's y'all two together. Also, I think a lady, I call her the little Swede, Janetta Johansson. We hadn't seen her since I think 2022 when she last competed in Olympia. I think she's a impressive young lady. I mean, there's a lot of women who have a lot of great potential. As you talk about Elizabeth, she's a young lady who has that potential. Barbara, she's an amazing lady. She's also like in the age group as us, in the 50s and over, and still doing bodybuilding. We have here, shout out to my man KL the Wanderer. He says this, he says, remember the true haters not going to respond to you. And this thing is, this is to say about haters. I you know what? Hate to hate and hate no more. Because you know what? I love your hate. I use it to motivate me. Because you take all that energy you use for hating, I use it to grow. Because the fact is, you care so much, I care so little. Shout to him, my man CS. He says this: I never bought into the prejudice at female bodybuilders ever since Laura Combs, Rachel McLeish, Bear Francis, and Lori Bowen Rice came along before Corey. In fact, being fit is more feminine. Shout out to my man here. Also, he says this. He says, these guys are fans. He says, it's a show. If the show's as close as with Body Shutdown, can see 4 or 5, 3 or also seems logical. That's true. Okay. And also, he has one more here. He says this, Mr. Vino, what about all the added categories? Do you think it's a plus to have more options? Is it watering down the sport, prize money, or do you stick to Division II maximum?
I think it's great there are more divisions, because if you take something like bodybuilding, like when I started competing, there was only bodybuilding. There was no choice. But to get to a bodybuilding show, even like when you start as an amateur, I mean, I worked out for probably 5 years before I stepped on stage as an amateur. And it just takes time, like some people need 10 years, like it also depends on like how you react to training and how serious you are from the get-go. And I just think if you can start, like, it's also like, bodybuilding is the most extreme of all the categories. And I think also for some women, like, I mean, even when I started, I was like, for me, it was more like, damn, can I ever look like that? You don't know if you can build that much muscle. It can be intimidating that it's like because you're so far away from the goal. Like I remember I was in the gym, I just got started. There was a bunch of like Fitness Max at the gym, and I would flip through a Flex and Muscle and Fitness, and I'll be like, a little voice in my head said, damn, you're never going to look like that. You're never going to be able to build that muscle. And then another little voice was like, well, maybe if I can, what if I can, you know, like it's just, you're so far away from the goal that it can be almost like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? But if you can start with a fit model and say, oh, you train for 6 months or a year or whatever, or, you know, maybe you have a background in another sport and you can get on stage pretty quickly with a diet. Okay, that was fun. I like the stage. I like the show. You keep training. Maybe next time it's a bikini or a wellness or a figure, you know. So it's more like, I think the natural progression will bring more athletes overall, you know. So, I mean, you're going to outgrow your category, right? And jump to the next and jump to the next and jump to the next. Some people are going to stay in their category because they love that category, but other people are going to progress. And I think in turns that means more athletes. It also means more money for the promoter. So even though when I competed, that was only bodybuilding, I think we were 8 women on stage. So you can see 8 women total in the show. That's not a lot of women. Today we see maybe like a wellness category with like 40 competitors. We see bikini with like different A, B, C, you know, and there's like 20, 25 in each group, right? So the promoters, they really have the opportunity to make a lot of money. If it's lucrative, there's going to be more shows, and there's just going to be more overall growth in the sport. So I see it only as a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. And, you know, as you know, there's a GoFundMe trying to, you know, help out with women's bodybuilding that's started by Anastasia Ryder. You know, also there's another competitor, her name is Kelly Larkins. She's also trying to promote women's bodybuilding. And you look at people like the other divisions, like people like Sid Gillen, who's, you know, promotes the Triple O. You look at women like, you know, Jessica Reyes Padilla. You look at so many other divisions. You look at the 2, you know, right now going through their little situation, Natalia and Sarah. You know, it's the evolution of every athlete over time. We go back to people like Bev Francis and to the Corey Eversons, to Linda and Iris, to ladies currently now. Like, I want to pull this out for a minute, and I can't help this because this is my friend Eunice got me this. It's the issue of muscle development with you know, Andrea on the cover. And what fuels me as a fan and also content creator on you ladies is when the champion tells me she thanks me and appreciate what I'm doing. And that really inspires me myself as a fan to give y'all ladies the opportunity to share your stories, and, you know, and to find out what drives you. Like, you know, being retired, what are the things that you think you miss the most and you miss the least as competitors?
You know what? Before we answer that, George, I wanted to say something real quick and thank you for what you do. I think you just also sponsored the Bad Rap jacket for Triple O.
Yeah, I did.
So, you know, and David with Female Bodybuilding Forum was Triple O sponsor as well. So not only do you guys give us a voice and a platform, you actually support us at the shows, which is amazing. So I just wanted to take a second and say thank you.
Well, ma'am, the quote from my hero, the Dark Knight himself, you never have to. That's why I do this. This gives me a purpose. Because if you don't know, I started doing this. I've been a fan for a long time, y'all ladies, of women of muscle and bodybuilding. I was fans of the guys too, but y'all ladies, you know, just kind of, you know, open up something in my mind about y'all. And doing this content and talk to people like you and Hella and Irene, it's just something for me. It's appreciation, especially when I was taking care of my mom. This was something that helped me with my mindset, because there's a lot to take care of. You ever had to take care of somebody with a sick family member? It's a stress. But doing this content, talk about you ladies, sharing your stories, and helping out my friend Eunice and Bad Rap, and just getting to know what inspires any person to do this sport, be a man or a woman. We got here. Shout out to my man. You know, Clear says, how many interviews are going to show that already? Hey, brother, this again. I'm good at what I do. This is what I'm going to show. Also, shout out to my man C Race. He says, True, a few late girls were athletes that did the fitness shows pre-expansions. Also opens up more master divisions. There have been some there that do 3 shows. Yeah, an event. Yeah, sure. So, folks, we're not gonna hold the ladies up too much longer. Again, what if we go back to the question? What do y'all miss and don't miss about being on the stage, competing in bodybuilding?
For me, it's a lot. It's actually a lot more the journey than being on stage. I do love to push myself, and just see how great I can get. You know, like the daily changes that arrives at some point. You know, like you start prepping, and there will be like some small weekly changes, and as you go, like there will be more and more changes in your body. The lower body fat percentage you get, and there's a point where you have such a low body fat percentage that you can literally just see if you have a little water that day on your abs, or you've got a little like one more cross striation in your outer quad or something like that. It's just the whole transformation process is really amazing. And to me, it was like always like really having a Ferrari of a body, you know, like that body was like, it was like better than having a Ferrari. And just never having that body again is like a sad goodbye, you know, because obviously being retired and focusing on other things, and also training more for balance and mobility, and not pushing so hard, given that, you know, my body is worn, my joints are worn, and I'm focusing on really like more gentle training for my body. And yeah, I would like to look like that forever, you know, like that competition body with the size, with the shape, with the cuts. If I could choose and I had one wish with God, I would say, please just let me look like that picture in goals forever. I love prep.
That's a
Like
classic.
I really love prep. Like every aspect, even like when it's hard and this sucks and I want to get it over with, it's still like it's a powerful feeling of knowing I have that strength. You know, there are so many people, they can't even keep a diet for a couple of days, you know, or a week. But like to go to that kind of extreme that you're like, I don't care if I'm hungry. It don't phase me. It don't matter, you know. I don't care if I wake up and feel like crap. I'm gonna go down and like kick the motherfucker out of my workout. You know, I really like, it's almost like the harder it gets for me, the more I'm driven. You know, it's like the shittier I feel, the more fierce I become. The more obstacles I have, like you said before, the more people that says you can't do it, you're not good enough, or you know, whatever the fuck it is, I get fueled by it. Like if you can get fueled by anything, no matter if people say something positive, it's also nice to hear like, wow, you look amazing, you're gonna kill it, you know, I think you're gonna win. That gives something to your confidence. But when people say, oh, you know, you're not going to beat that or that person, or you know, I've had people say to me something like, oh, really, are you competing like 3 weeks out? And they're like, really, are you doing a show this year, you know, or whatever things that people sometimes say, doubting you, that type of doubt or negativity, I just, it makes me boil. I'm gonna fucking show those motherfuckers.
Ooh. And for you, Irene,
No, it's a bit
They're
like,
gonna see what I'm bringing, you know, and I love
no, but
that.
just to see
Cool.
how hard it gets and how hard you can take it, and you get more. I get more energized. The tougher it gets,
Mhm.
and just to prove that you can do it. And the best thing is if people think you can't, then you just have to show.
Try whatever you want. It's gonna help me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
what about for you, Gina? When you last, it was like 2023. It's been like about 3 years since you last competed. What's your thoughts?
Definitely the same thing as far as like the mental fortitude that it takes, because you just know that you can do it. You just get this deep-seated like knowledge in your gut that, you know what, I can push through. I had an athlete few years ago that used to say, I could do anything for 5 weeks. I can do anything for 4 weeks. And really, that's what it comes down to. You can do anything you put your mind to, no matter how hard it gets. But I will miss the stage. I've always said the stage is my happy place. And my very first show, one of the expediters came up to me after the show and she goes, I've never seen somebody smile so much doing a back double. You realize you don't need to smile when you're facing the back of the stage. I'm like, I can't help it, So I love every aspect of it. The competing, the being on stage, the backstage with the girls, and how challenging it is to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the thing. I think everybody has their experiences when it comes to the sport, what drives them, what fuels them, the passion for it. It's tough. Also, again, for y'all ladies, the expense of it between getting ready, getting competing. There's always, the guys have their expenses, but they got to wear a pair of banana canvas boy shorts. You ladies have to present both muscularity and femininity, and that's tough to do, and to bring in a presentation, and it's expense of it. That's why it's good that you are helping these athletes with the cost of training and everything like that. So I'm gonna pull these public pitch focus. This is one of my favorite. Hella, I mean, wow, when she was like, and and this one here with Irene. Look at those.
That's
pecs.
the physique I'm gonna miss.
Yeah, look at those pecs. And this here we have Hella with Malene Perrone, also Tamara McCart. Their ladies are retired now themselves. Beautiful ladies, beautiful women with muscle. Like I said again, I'm a fan of you ladies. I appreciate who you are as women. We are sacrifice in your time you put into this sport. And we can't forget one guy here who really kept the sport going with others and was pushing out. I gotta give a shout out every time I do. I gotta give him my man, Mr. Jake Wood here. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. He's now running Olympia. He was the guy that gave women's bodybuilding its life when it was, as I quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, as the IFBB and UPC quality right behind you and stabbing the heart. He did good work. We created the Wings of Strength and the Ambassador Program and shows like the Rising Phoenix. And now he's got you back to Olympia. We have here some comments here. These guys, they are loving you having on here. This is from my man Sean. He says, good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, brother. Also, shout out to my man here, C Race. He says, smart promoter will round you there 3 and other retired stars to do an event and or a blockbuster exhibition. Okay, yeah. Also, he gives this to me. He says, your mother would be proud of you cursing on the internet. Well, my mother, if you knew my mother, she was not shy. She'd tell us saying words like shit wasn't a curse word. It's just, hey, my mother, I love my mother. She was a good woman. She did the best with us. She had 6 kids to raise and plus 2 grandkids. But you know what? That's why I have a lot of respect for women, because of her and my sisters and the women I worked with, and meeting people like yourself and people like, shout out to Eunice. I always want to shout out Eunice and Bad Rap and Jolene, what they did, promoting and giving you just not just women's bodybuilding, but female bodybuilding in general, a real fighting chance, an opportunity to have a place where other people are trying to push it out and try to kill it in a way, but still y'all still here. And you ladies are the foremothers who give that opportunity for these up and coming competitors, and also the competitors that've been in the game for a long time, like people like Michelle and people like Elizabeth and Tunks, and also these up and comers like Lucy and Katrine. And I respect who you are as women, as coaches, as just competitors, and just I wish more for y'all than anybody can wish for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, ladies, I'm gonna let you give your last words. So, share your thoughts and also what's the plans as you know going to with Team 4 Pro.
We're just gonna
Okay.
aim.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the
said
plans
what?
can start. The
Yeah.
plan for Pro is, of course, to develop some amazing athletes, and we want to grow our team. I've coached for a really long time. I mean, we all have. I started in 2003 with coaching, but I've always had like a small team because, you know, when you're a competitive athlete, you put a lot of time and work and dedication into yourself. So I was like, I always took pride in being there for my athletes and also, you know, giving them just as much attention and detail than I gave to myself. And I couldn't have very many athletes, you know, to do a good job. So I had like a really small team. Whereas now, I mean, we all retired. So I mean, I'm open, you know, like I'm willing to really take on as many athletes as I can for like doing this as a full-time job. And I have so much knowledge that I don't want to go to waste. I mean, this is 34 years in the sport, and I really want to pass on my knowledge, and I want to create good athletes. I mean, we all do, and just as we had a little bit the opening talk, that I think there's a lot of bad coaching out there, and I really want to help the women get better results and healthy results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
So that's our goal.
that's our goal. We want to help. We want to win, and we want to win.
That's good. I think y'all doing good works. I know your competitors and who you're working with are very proud of the opportunities to learn from legends like yourselves, who's been to the games, who's been to the shows like the Rising Phoenix, the Olympia, who has had again over half of a century of education and also of knowledge, because that's what we need in sport. We need our legends, our heroes to step up and really to help the next generation, to help them, you know, achieve something. Because you know what, everybody got to come together. Everybody has to come. It's like this. I like my fingers love quote movies. There's a movie called Soul Food where Mama Joe tells him, says to come together is like a mighty fist. You make a mighty blow. That's how it is. You got to come together. You can make a mighty blow. Just a shout out to my man. See, he says this says, would you see you all reappear on the show together and or eventually and revisit the diet and update how your clients are doing? So if you ladies ever want to come back, you know, maybe shoot the shit, you know, talk about some more stuff, you know, really dig into some stuff, you know, this is all stuff that we can talk about, but I know I know y'all busy. I mean, Gina got there, she's taking care of
That's really
Irene's
good.
dogs.
I mean, now you just kind of introduced some of our athletes to the audience, and we literally just like got started. We are just like 3-4 weeks in with them, so I think it would be great to have another podcast in a few months where, you know, everybody would have probably started prep in a couple of months, so we can kind of revisit and say, okay, how is it going with them? What's next for them and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just okay. We can do it maybe because I'm planning on going out of town in a few months. Maybe around about season really picks up around about July, June. You know, whichever works with your schedule. I know some ladies who have interviewed. I reach out about trying to do something today, but they're busy. They got things. They got training. I'll share this link with them, and maybe they'll let me know if they have the time available. I would love to get y'all on here, talk to your athletes. Y'all get to share their experience, talk about what's the plans are, just hammer everything together. For me, I feel, you know what, I feel like a little girl in springtime. So, you know, it's just exciting to have y'all on here and to hear your voice, you know,
It's
and
great that you want to interview our athletes because, you know, then it's not just us talking, but they can talk about their experience with us and get their perspective as well.
Yeah, I think you already talked to Gabby recently. She
Mhm.
started one of our sponsored athletes, so we've been working together a month now. Eunice, who you talk to often, has been with me for a few years now. So
Yeah.
And
I also talked to Carol, but Carol, she was busy. She couldn't make it at time because she's in Singapore. I reached out to Sam Emery. Sam, I interviewed Sam also. She got work. She wanted to come the other time, but then you had to cancel, and then she was disappointed. And Elizabeth, most definitely, I think she would love to, and maybe get a couple more of the girls. Again, this is something that we, especially as you know, I'm not a man, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm a fan, and I would love to see more opportunities for these athletes to get into to make the Olympia or go to the Rising Phoenix. Too bad that the Arnold does not have the divisions anymore. That's one of the biggest shows, but who cares? Yeah, he can have his shit.
yeah.
So, ladies, do you have anybody you want to shout out before I let you go?
they
We,
just
we all are here for you, so just hook us up. We're waiting to help you out.
Well, I would say,
Yeah, you can follow us on Team for Pro Coaching on either Instagram or Facebook. We actually also, I think I can make the announcement, even though we didn't really speak about it, but I'll put it out there. We have plans actually to start a podcast. So we will have our own YouTube podcast coming. I don't know the launch date yet, but now you're kind of you're getting the inside scoop that we will have our own podcast about women and prep and all the kinds of things you want to know.
That's good. I mean, that's one thing, especially on YouTube. We need more women talking about bodybuilding, about the struggles, the things that's involved with it. It needs to be more education, not just, and also be informative. That's why I do my style. I want to be informative and entertaining. And it's great to hear from people like yourself, Olympians and competitors, because that's what we need. We need that knowledge. We need that education. We need it coming from our legends and our competitors. We have it from my man, shout out to my man, Steve, is sticking here, says, next best thing to not winning Miss Olympia is to train a Miss Olympia, Miss O champion. Shout out to him. Also, he says training a top 3 finisher isn't bad for Miss O or any event. That's the podium finish and better prize money. And I wish the prize money was a little better. I would say, I'm not saying get as much as Derek gets, but at least Andre should get at least a couple $100,000. I know last time you should get a little bit more money. But the game is, it's always going to be about what the crowds want to see, the tickets prices. We can get into that another time. But ladies, again, I truly appreciate this opportunity to have you on to get your thoughts, your opinions, and your feeling, and also your expertise on bodybuilding and to share your experiences. This is what my channel is about, to give an opportunity for the women out here to talk about and to share what it is to be a bodybuilder, to be a woman in sport. It's considered very, as I would say, very masculine sport. As I call it sometimes, I call it, it's a sport of muscle masculinity, but the fact is, y'all ladies are wonderful people, and I appreciate the time you give out here to talk with you.
thank you. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
We appreciate you.
Man. Well, again, man, it's just you just made me. I'm black. I can't get rosy cheeks. I'm getting purple a bit, so yeah, I appreciate that. But I will also thank my guests over here. My man, C Racing Report 2024. My brother KL the Wanderer, Sean McMillan that came through. All you other guys who are here. I know so many questions. I couldn't get to all of y'all, and some of your questions are stupid, so that's why I didn't post them. But I do appreciate y'all, and I do respect you a lot. Also, shout out to my man C. Siggy here, man says. You're all superstars. You're butterflies, and it was time well spent to hear from you. And oh no, I gotta say this. The other guy gotta say it. He says this also. He also says, "You all are beautiful." I'm sorry about him.
Mr. Joker.
I'm sorry about him. He competes me. But ladies, I thank you again. I wish you congratulations with the Team for a Pro program. Congratulations to your athletes. If they ever want to come back, when you shoot the shit, let me know. I'm open to the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you
so much. Thank you.
All right. So Yeah, so folks, this is Jamal Away George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Thank the lovely ladies of Team 4 Pro. Thank you, my guests. Shout out to my dear friend Eunice. Shout out to my brother, the Female Body Forum. Shout out to my man KL. One, all y'all fans, reach out to these ladies in genuine interest and support, and don't be that weird guy. Anyways, good afternoon, good night, and God bless.
Bye.
Get a flex, guys.